November 26, 2024. Tuesday of the 34th week in Ordinary Time. A reading from the Book of Revelation. I, John, looked, and behold, a white cloud, and seated on the cloud one like a son of man, with a golden crown on his head, and a sharp sickle in his hand. And another angel came out of the temple, calling with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, Put in your sickle, and reap, for the hour to reap has come, for the harvest of the earth is fully ripe. So he who sat on the cloud swung his sickle across the earth, and the earth was reaped. Then another angel came out of the temple in heaven, and he too had a sharp sickle. And another angel came out from the altar, the angel who has authority over the fire, and he called with a loud voice to the one who had the sharp sickle, Put in your sickle and gather the clusters from the vine of the earth, for its grapes are ripe. So the angel swung his sickle across the earth and gathered the grape harvest of the earth and threw it into the great winepress of the wrath of God. The word of the Lord. Responsorial Psalm Response. The Lord comes to judge the earth. Say to the nations, the Lord is King. The world he made firm in its place, he will judge the peoples in fairness. The Lord comes to judge the earth. Let the heavens rejoice and earth be glad, let the sea and all within it thunder praise. Let the land and all it bears rejoice. The Lord comes to judge the earth. Then will all the trees of the wood shout for joy at the presence of the Lord, for he comes to judge the earth. He will judge the world with justice, he will govern the peoples with his truth. The Lord comes to judge the earth. Alleluia, alleluia. Be faithful unto death, says the Lord, and I will give you the crown of life. Alleluia. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. At that time, as some were speaking of the temple, how it was adorned with noble stones and offerings, Jesus said, As for these things that you see, the days will come when there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down. And they asked him, Teacher, when will these things be, and what will be the sign when these things are about to take place? And he said, See that you are not led astray. For many will come in my name, saying, I am he, and, the time is at hand. Do not go after them. And when you hear of wars and tumults, do not be terrified, for these things must first take place, but the end will not be at once. Then he said to them, Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be great earthquakes, and in various places famines and pestilences. And there will be terrors and great signs from heaven. The Gospel of the Lord. Reflection. Tuesday, 34th week in Ordinary Time. In the time of Jesus, the temple in Jerusalem that was built by King Herod the Great was considered one of the 7 wonders of the world. In the Gospel reading this morning, the disciples of Jesus, looking across at it from the Mount of Olives, talk among themselves about what a wonderful building the temple is. Jesus, however, foresees a time when the temple will no longer be present. As he says, everything will be destroyed. His words came to pass 40 years later when the Romans destroyed Jerusalem and its temple, in putting down the Jewish revolt against Rome. The statement everything will be destroyed must have been difficult for the disciples to hear. It is difficult for us to hear today. We can be tempted to ask, where is the good news in that statement? How does it qualify as gospel? In his first letter to the Corinthians, Paul expresses what Jesus states in a slightly different way, the present form of this world is passing away. On that basis, Paul calls on the church in Corinth not to become overly absorbed in the things of this world. Rather, Paul would say, we are to absorb ourselves in the one who will never pass away, the Lord. If our relationship with the Lord, the one who never passes away, is central to our lives, then our relationship with the present form of the world which is destined to pass away will find its proper level. The Lord comes first for us, everything else is secondary, including the wonderful buildings that have been built in His honor. Even when these were to pass away, the Lord will endure, and that is good news.